Thank you, everybody, for coming to the Aaron Torres Podcast YouTube page. If you could do me a quick favor, see that little subscribe button at the bottom of your screen? Go ahead, click that subscribe button. Really does help our channel grow, our audience grow, and I really do appreciate it more than you know. So click that subscribe button. Appreciate your support. Now, here's the video that you came here for. All right, everybody. I'm back. Good to be back. So tell you what, we didn't have time for a full episode of the Aaron Torres pod on Tuesday. I'm running around getting stuff ready for the season, dealing with all sorts of stuff behind the scenes. But I bring it up, Tuesday was kind of a very interesting day at SEC Media Days. You have Steve Sarkisian, Arch Manning in Texas. You have Kirby Smart in Georgia. You have Hugh Freeze, who certainly is under a microscope, or at least his handicap is based on what he's done this offseason. But the bottom line is, like, when I look at Tuesday of SEC Media Days, Kirby Smart's never going to say anything too interesting. Arch Manning definitely isn't going to. Steve Sarkisian isn't going to. And even though I'm kind of quietly optimistic about Auburn and Hugh Freeze, I think even Auburn fans are like, dude, we need to see it on the field. Enough talk. We don't care. Show me in August, September, and October. And so what I want to do today is actually talk about what I believe to be maybe the most interesting story and interesting statement that came out of SEC Media Days on Tuesday, and that came from Tennessee head coach Josh Heupel, okay? So listen, I think we all like Josh Heupel. We all respect Josh Heupel. We all respect what he has done with this program, taking them to a college football playoff a season ago. And I think we all really respect him after the way he handled things this spring with a certain former quarterback, okay? And this segment is not to relitigate what happened. It was addressed. But in the process of addressing it, he did say something that actually made me think, whoa, one, we actually probably just do not talk about Josh Heupel enough as an elite college football coach on the national scale. But two, I'll tell you this, he said something on Tuesday at SEC Media Days that really made me believe, like, darn it, dude, this team, if Josh Heupel is in charge, I trust them, I believe in them, and there's so much stuff going on about the one guy that isn't there. Maybe we need to focus on the guys that are there and basically the man that is leading them. So let's talk about what Josh Heupel said. Before we do, as a reminder, you can see on the ticker, Torres on the Vols, if you're on Twitter, Torres on the Vols for all of my Tennessee content. We have an intern that helps me run it. Everything Tennessee related, not just me, but media days, baseball when it's baseball season, Rick Barnes, etc. So make sure to follow Torres on the Vols on Twitter. With that said, let's get into what Josh Heupel discussed at SEC Media Days. And again, listen, Tennessee fans, I am not relitigating what happened in April. One, I don't care. Two, you don't care. Three, Josh Heupel handled it perfectly. But in addition to handling it perfectly in April, I think he handled it perfectly Tuesday at SEC Media Days, where even before he opened it up to questions, he basically said, look, we know there's an elephant in the room. It's about the quarterback position. It's a unique deal, but we're excited for not only Joey Aguilar, but all of the guys that we have competing for the position. We brought in Joey in May. We taught him, with all the installs and everything that we possibly could. And now it's about, furthering his understanding, whatever. You can find what Josh Heupel said. But then he said something really interesting that made me sit there and say, yeah, we should probably be giving Josh Heupel a little bit more credit and be worrying a little bit less about the quarterback situation. Let's go ahead and get into what Josh Heupel said about not only the quarterback situation, but his team in general and specifically the offense. He said, quote, offensively, we have found a lot of ways to win during the course of my career as an offensive coach and as a head coach through the air and on the ground, have found a way to be elite year in and year out. You look at what we've done. 2 SEC players of the year in the last 3 years, one at quarterback, one at running back, that of course being Hendon Hooker and Dylan Sampson a year ago. He continued, quote, the last 2 years we've led the SEC in rushing. The last 4 years since we arrived, we've rushed for 125 yards, obviously per game each year. Never been done in the history of Tennessee football. Really proud of what we've done, but the guys and the staff that we have continue to grow as we move forward this year into the 2025 season. Now, listen, maybe to some of you that doesn't mean that much. Maybe to some of you, Torres is talking out of his you-know-what. But to me, that is exactly right. That is what Josh Heupel said is so true. We get so caught up on his background, the fact that he was a national championship winning quarterback, the fact that he was an OC here, there, and wherever, the fact that, oh, by the way, he turned Hendon Hooker from backup quarterback into what should have been, and don't get me started on this, a Heisman finalist. We could talk about that another day, Tennessee fans. But I bring it up because the one thing that he has proven time and time and time again, his teams aren't about one player or even about one system. They are about a great football coach adjusting to his personnel, to his talent, and to styles of play. And the one thing I was thinking about when I heard him say this, the one thing you cannot say about Josh Heupel, he is not afraid to adjust what he needs to do, adjust it quickly, adjust it on the fly, and adjust it for the betterment of his team, okay? So I was thinking about this. Think about year one. Just think about year one. He comes in. And I think, listen, we all thought, including him, hey, Joe Milton's the guy. And we all like Joe Milton. We all respect him. He's obviously in the NFL, whatever, blah, 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 blah. But what is it? 2-3 games in, it's like, oh, we got to at least give this backup Hendon Hooker a chance. Hendon Hooker comes in. He's awesome. He retains the job. By the way, credit to Joe Milton, who had so much respect for Hendon Hooker that he said, you know what, I'm going to stay in the program anyway. And so, listen, adjusted on the fly, put Hendon Hooker in even when you thought Joe Milton was the starter. By the way, as a credit to Josh Heupel, I think he also did something that he probably doesn't. He won 9 games after Hendon Hooker left in a season where I think there was a lot of pressure on him to put Nico Iamaleava in games that year. And he just said, he's not ready. We're trusting the process. I'm sticking with what I believe in. Still ends up winning 9 games in what was obviously year 3, the first year without Hendon Hooker. And then let's not forget last year, right? And listen, we all, and I include myself in this, we all get so guilty of getting caught up on what happened in April. What happened with the high-profile former quarterback that none of us care about at this point, at least not from a Tennessee perspective. What we forget, though, last year, what the success, the 10 wins, the college football playoff appearance was not about the quarterback. As a matter of fact, I think we all kind of agreed by the end, the quarterback might have been holding them back. You know what it was about? It was about Dylan Sampson. It was about the defense. Okay, so you mentioned Dylan Sampson, SEC Offensive Player of the Year. Now, he's obviously gone. I'm not saying that he isn't gone. But it was about the run game. It was about Dylan Sampson being the best running back in the SEC, one of the best running backs in college football. It was about a defense that, how about this, was top 10 in scoring defense and total defense. And then beyond that, top 25, in 9 different defensive categories a season ago nationally. Top 10, as I said, in total defense, in scoring defense, in tackles for loss, in red zone defense, in first downs allowed, in passing efficiency defense, and third down conversion defense, and fourth down conversion defense, and yards per play allowed. Yeah, they were good everywhere. It was about the defense. It was about the run game. And again, the one thing Josh Heupel is going to do is adjust to his personnel. Now, again, now at the same time, I do want to be fair. And what I do want to say is, obviously, you can say it, but there are spots that need to be filled, right? We still haven't seen Joey Aguilar in a major college football game, at least not in the SEC, and that's assuming that he wins the job, and I think we all do think he's going to win the job. We know that some of the better wide receiver talent is gone. We know that Dylan Sampson is gone. We know that a lot of the defensive talent is gone, led by James Pierce Jr., who's out the door. What we cannot deny, though, covered ain't bare either. Deshaun Bishop was pretty good last year in limited carries behind Dylan Sampson. Yeah, he's back. The wide receiver core, I think, is quietly going to be better than maybe people realize. Josh Heupel was actually asked about Chris Braswell at media days. He had good things to say about him. Mike Matthews Jr., by the way, was, of course, a former 5-star, one of the best wide receivers in high school football. We'll see what happens along the offensive line, headlined by David Sanders. And listen, the defense still has plenty of talent, even though it lost a bunch of talent from a year ago. Arion Carter's back. Jermon McCoy's back. I mean, you go on and on down the list. There is plenty of talent. I guess what I'm trying to say is I thought that quote, again, to me, totally crystallized who Josh Heupel is, what he's about, and by the way, why he's one of the more underrated coaches in all of college football. As we close here, I just want to say this really quick. I don't think people realize how good Josh Heupel is. Now, Tennessee fans, I know you do. But Tennessee fans, like outside of Tennessee fans, let me ask you this. Do people realize Josh Heupel is now entering year 5 at Tennessee, year 8 as a head coach? In 7 years as a head coach, take out the COVID year. He's won at least 7 games in every single season. Take out the first year at Tennessee and the COVID season. Of course, the first year at Tennessee entering the SEC, forgive him if he wasn't, 12-0. You know that Josh Heupel's won at least 9 games in 5 of his 7 seasons as a head coach. The only times that he didn't was the COVID year and his first year at Tennessee. Win totals in years outside of year 1. 12 wins at UCF, 10 wins at UCF, 11 wins in year 2 at Tennessee, 9 in year 3, 10 a year ago. Bottom line, trust Josh Heupel, trust the Vols. I actually think that statement, light bulb over my head of like, you know what? Tennessee's actually going to be pretty good. Do me a quick favor. If you're not subscribed to the Aaron Torres Pod YouTube channel, do me a favor. Click the little subscribe button at the bottom of the screen. Really do appreciate your support. All sorts of college football, college basketball on this channel 365 days a year. Also, do me a favor. If you're a Vol fan, if you never heard of me before, you stumbled across this, and you are on Twitter, go ahead, follow Torres on the Vols for all your late-breaking Tennessee news, Torres on the Vols.